Okay. All right. So I'm going to start in constructive rest, but you start in whatever position you like that gets you just nice and comfy and cozy. Take your time, settle in, and just give your body a few minutes to find a nice, comfortable position. So work your little wiggles out, make sure your hair feels it's in a comfortable place, make sure that your clothes feel like they're in a comfortable place. So you don't have to fuss with them too much. Awesome. And then once you feel like you've got your body in a really good position for at least a minute or two, where you won't have to do too much fussing, let your arms become nice and heavy. Take a breath to settle in. And then to start, keep your eyes open for a second. Notice what's straight in front of you, as if you didn't have to turn your eyes up or down or side to side. What is straight in front of your gaze? And then maybe look your eyes down just slightly, and then notice what's straight in front of your gaze. And then just get a sense of the room that you're working in. And then just take a moment here to notice, is it quiet or is it loud? Is the room that you're working in safe, or is there anything that you need to do to make the room feel a little bit more secure? And if there's any changes that you need to make in the room, take a minute to do that so that you can settle back in and get nice and comfortable. And then from here, if it feels good to do so, allow your eyes to close or just allow the lids to soften and your gaze to soften, knowing that you have the right and the option to open your eyes at any time. So you don't have to force your eyes closed and you don't have to keep in one position if it doesn't feel right in your body. But if you can invite a gentle softness into your eyelids and a softer sense into your eyes, and then see if you can allow that soft sense to find your cheekbones and your jaw. And then can you take a moment here, still staying really connected to that area right around your face, your nose, your eyes, and can you start to tune into your breath and just notice your breath coming in and notice your breath going out. And you don't have to force or change the breath, but just watch it come in naturally and watch it go out. And staying with that breath awareness, can you notice, is your breath coming in one nostril stronger than the other? So is there one side that's a little bit more congested? With no right or wrong, just allow yourself to notice. And if both nostrils are breathing freely and equally, notice that. And then using a little bit of tactile awareness, if you like, take one hand and really just one finger and find that little space right underneath your nose, right under your nostrils, that space between your top lip and your nose, and just give it a light and gentle tap, just to become aware of that little space right underneath your nose that we often find a numbness to or we don't pay attention to because we breathe in and out all day long and we just lose our awareness there. So if you can, bring a finger right to that space above the upper lip, below the nose, and just give it a light and gentle tap. And then once you feel like you've tapped a little awareness into that space, let your hand relax back down wherever it was. and then come back to your breath. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. And now can you start to follow the breath a little bit into your throat? So as you breathe in through the nose, it goes through the sinus cavities down the throat. Can you feel your breath in your throat? Breathing in. And then can you feel the breath in your throat as you breathe out? And then if it feels good again to bring a little tactile awareness, maybe using the opposite hand that you used before, bring a hand and just gently touch the front of the throat. So really light and gentle touch just to become aware of that space in the skin in the front of the throat. And then take a nice gentle breath in and a nice slow breath out. And then if it feels good, relax your hand back down wherever it was. And then take another breath in, noticing the space in the front of the throat and noticing as you exhale. Nice. And then using both hands only if it feels right and appropriate, taking your hands or your fingers to your collarbones and giving again a nice light and gentle tap just right at the space in front of the collarbones. So we're not hurting ourselves, but just offering a little bit of tactile awareness. So a light touch or tap. And then relax your hands back down wherever they were. Take a nice deep breath in and notice your collarbones. Nice. And then as we start to bring some awareness to that area in the front of the chest, the collarbones, take a moment here to just notice your clothes touching your skin. So, however many layers you've got on, notice that connection to the skin of your body. And then notice, is it loose and soft, or are your clothes constricting? And there's no right or wrong there, but just awareness and notice. And then as you notice, if there's any places on your clothes, on your skin connected to your body that are a little bit constricting, can you place your awareness there and then take a nice deep breath in and notice that space and that constriction? And then exhale nice and slow. Nice. And then let your awareness come to the back side of your body. So notice, did you start to get a little stiff? Is there anything that you need to move? Do you need to make a couple of wiggles of the tailbone, a little bit of movement of the knees or the hips, a little wiggle of the side body, maybe some gentle movement of the hands and the arms? Just notice, did anything get a little stiff? Can you bring a little mush back into your body, get everything nicely arranged? And then can you soften back into a nice still place and take a nice deep breath? Cool. And then can you let your awareness come to the backside of your body, noticing the solidness if you're on the floor, or if you're in a chair, on a couch, or on your bed, noticing the softness beneath you. Cool. Now, can you let your awareness come to the side of your body? So, noticing the armpits down to where the sides of the ribs are, down to where the soft tissue is, right below the ribs, where you get that softer part of your belly on the side. And then maybe notice the hips where your side body meets the hips. So can you just breathe a little bit of awareness into that space? Take a nice deep breath and almost imagine that you're breathing out sideways so you can fill that space up. And then exhale and let all of that air go. Nice. And then can you stay there for another moment? Feeling the side of the body, take a nice deep breath in and imagine that you're breathing sideways, opening out through the side body. And then as you exhale, let all of that air go. Cool. And then if it feels available and if it feels comfortable and you think you would like to do so, think about taking your right hand, reaching across and finding your left ribs. And then give a second to just let your right arm get comfortable. So you want to let your elbow snuggle in, let your right armpit get comfortable, and then spread your right fingers around your left ribs. And then just take a second to soften your right arm and then start to come back to your breath. Take a nice deep breath in, and can you feel the breath around your ribs? Cool. Take one more breath here. Nice. And then if it feels good to do so, release your right hand, let it relax, maybe give your fingers a little wiggle. And then if it feels nice to do so, take it to the other side. So left hand is going to reach across and maybe find the right ribs, and then give your left arm a second to settle in. So rearrange your armpit, let your elbow find a nice place to settle in, and then spread your left fingers around the ribs just as much as you like. And then notice the breath in your right ribs. Cool. And then if you feel called to do so, gently release your left hand, let it get comfortable again. Give anything a wiggle that you need. Wiggle your ribs, wiggle your tail, wiggle your shoulders, wiggle your fingers. Gently move your ankles, your toes, your feet, anything that wants a little bit of attention and has drawn a little stiffness into your body. So wiggle everything around, give everything a good mush, make everything feel good again. And then come back to your breath. Take a nice deep breath in and a nice slow breath out. Awesome. Now we're going to take the right hand back over and across to the left ribs. Let the right arm snuggle in, let it get nice and comfortable. Spread the fingers. We're going to feel the connection of the hand, and you might notice the fabric of your clothes underneath your hand. And then can you go a little further with that awareness and maybe notice the warmth of your hand, and then the warmth of the space between your hand and the fabric of your clothes, and then go just a little bit deeper because there's warmth in the side body, warmth in the ribs. So can you just feel that warm space between your hand and your ribs, and just take a nice deep breath into that awareness. Cool. And then can you think about drawing your awareness just a little deeper in? So past your hand, past the fabric of your clothes, past your skin, the connective tissue there, go a little deeper past the adipose tissue, finding the muscular tissue, and it's all just sensing awareness. So you might not notice it, or it might just be a little bit of a stretch to find that awareness there. But then with that, can you go a little bit further and feel the bony ribs? So whether that's just with a little press of the fingertips or a real strong sense of awareness deep within you, can you get a sense of your left rib cage? Take a breath and notice that little bit of spacious moving that happens in the ribs as you breathe. And then can you go further with that awareness and notice your lungs? And then think about that left lung, slightly smaller than the right, makes a little room for the heart. Can you inhale and fill up that left lung? And then slowly exhale. Inhale and fill up. And slowly exhale. Nice. Take one more breath here. Cool. And then gently release your right hand. And then maybe just think about reaching your right hand up towards the ceiling or straight out in front of your chest. And then just give your wrists a little gentle twirl in one direction. Wiggle your fingers, soften your elbow, allow your arm to move gently out of the shoulder, and then maybe move it in the other direction. And the same thing, gentle in the fingers, soft in the wrist, soft in the elbow, and just move naturally out of your shoulder. Awesome. And then release your hand down wherever it lays comfortably. And then maybe think about taking it back to the other side. So left hand is going to reach over, find the right ribs. Let that left arm snuggle into place. Spread the fingers. Take a breath. Become aware of the fabric underneath your hand. Become aware of the warmth between your palm and your ribs. And then maybe go a little deeper in. Notice the skin, the connective tissue, the fatty layer or the adipose tissue, the muscles, the bones. Take a moment and pause. Notice the movement of the bones as you breathe in and the gentle giving as you breathe out. And then think about going deeper in and just paying attention or sensing your lungs, your right lung. And can you fill that right lung up with air? And then exhale, let it all go. Inhale and fill up. And exhale, let it all go. Take one more breath here. Nice. And then think about releasing your left hand, maybe stretch it out in front of you, and then just give it some gentle movement. Maybe gently move the fingers, gently move the wrists, gently move the elbow, gently move out of the shoulder, and then think about moving in a different direction and just letting everything be soft and natural and just finding some gentle movement there. And then when you feel good and ready, relax that hand down, snuggle your shoulders in, rearrange everything so it feels good again. Take a nice deep breath, and can you fill up both lungs? Big giant inhale. Super slow exhale. Beautiful. And then from here, can you bring both hands to the belly if it feels available and appropriate? And then just wiggle your shoulders, wiggle your tail, make sure everything feels like it's in a good position. And then we're just going to let a little focus and awareness of the breath come to the belly. So inhale and just allow that natural rise and fall. So you don't have to force the breath here, but just take an inhale and feel the gentle breath under your hands. And then that softening as you exhale. Inhale and fill up. And a nice soft exhale. And then take a moment here to come back to that idea of that warmth, of the space between your palms. Go below the texture of your clothes and feel that space of warmth between your belly and your hands. And then can you offer up just a little bit of gratitude here for a moment for this wonderful soft space that holds and contains all your organs and is soft and giving and moving. It moves with you when you sleep, it moves with you when you wake, when you exercise, when you breathe, when you eat. This nice, lovely, soft giving place. Can you take a nice deep breath in with a lot of gratitude and a nice letting go with the exhale? Awesome. And then from here, can you take your hands and start to locate your bony hip points? So if you're sitting in a chair, it might be a little bit harder, but see if you can just find that space, those little bony protruding hip bones, and then just locate those bones for a moment. And then notice, does your tailbone want to be rearranged? Do you want to move your legs? Do you want to move your ankles? Is there anything that could be a little bit more comfortable? Set yourself up. And then once you feel like you've found a little bit of extra comfort, we're going to come back to this light tapping. So we want to find a little bit of a light tapping sensation. So just gently tap your fingers on those protruding hip bones. And then give a moment just to find a little gentle rhythm with that tapping. And then once you feel like you can move your awareness away from focusing on that rhythm, keeping with that rhythm though, can you start to focus on your breath? Take a nice gentle inhale and a nice slow exhale. And then start to just feel that nice gentle rhythm of that tapping in your breath. Take an inhale and a nice slow exhale. Beautiful. Take one more breath here, keeping with that tapping rhythm. One more super slow exhale, keeping with that tapping rhythm if you can. Beautiful. And then let that tapping come to stillness. And if it feels good, just let your hands rest around those hip bones. And then feel that warmth again, the warmth underneath your palms, down into your hips. And then noticing that nice big warmness underneath your hands, can you shift your focus and find a place on your body that is cool or cold? And then just breathe into that space of coolness. Beautiful. And then if it feels good, just let your arms find a nice, comfortable, neutral position. So whatever that means. For me, anatomical position feels really nice. I like to bring my arms about 45 degrees away from the body with the palms facing up. But any position for your arms that feels good. And then start to bring a little bit of gentle, gentle, gentle movement into your feet and into your toes. So whatever that means to you, maybe start to gently wiggle the toes, mush around the feet, roll around the ankles, but keep it light, keep it soft, keep it gentle. So you don't want to effort too much. But notice now the bottoms of your feet. You can keep mushing them and moving them if that feels nice, or you can let them come to a stillness. But with whichever option you choose, can you still keep some awareness at the bottoms of your feet? Are they warm or are they cold? Are they dry or do they feel moist? Do they feel stiff or do they feel loose? And there's no right or wrong, but just notice. Cool. And then if you're sitting in a chair, maybe just let your feet relax heavily on the floor. And if you're on the ground, spread your toes and just really feel the bottoms of your feet spread out on the floor. And then if it feels good, start to find just a little gentle rocking sensation with the knees. So in the chair or on the floor, whatever the case may be, think of it as a little micro windshield wiper. So it's not a big giant movement, but just a gentle rocking of the knees side to side so that you can start to feel that shift on the bottoms of your feet. So once you've got that rhythm of that gentle movement of the knees side to side, let your awareness come back down to your feet. And then just notice as one knee drops in, you might notice you put a little press into one big toe. You might notice that gentle shift as you find the blade edges of your feet. Notice the texture beneath your feet. Notice the lack of texture on the tops of your feet. Or if you're wearing socks, notice the texture on the tops of your feet. Cool. And then if it feels good to you here, especially if you're on the floor, if you want to take those windshield wipers just a little bit further, just a little bit deeper, and start to move gently out of the hips, take your time. Notice what feels nice to you and notice what you don't need. Beautiful. And then let everything come to a stillness. Find some comfort again, mush everything around, get everything into a place that it feels really good. And then it might feel good to change positions altogether. So if you're laying on your back and you are in constructive rest, it might feel nice to roll over onto one side or flip over onto your belly or come up into a seated position, whatever the case may be. But now we're going to come into the more quiet portion of our work. So I'm going to quiet down, you'll settle in. And if you can, just allow your awareness to come to your breath. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. If you can find it, allow a softening of the outer edges of your skin. If you can find it, allow a heaviness in your bones. If you can find it, allow a soft gentleness in the muscle tissue of your body. If your mind has a tendency to wander in this stillness, allow yourself time to let your focus and awareness be with your breath. If it helps to name it, watch your inhalation and watch your exhalation. Can you start to bring your awareness back to your physical body? And then can you gather all of that awareness back to that space above your upper lip, but below your nose? Can you take a nice deep breath in? A nice slow breath out. Cool. And then if you're in a reclined position, maybe slowly and mindfully start to find your way up to a seated position. And if you are in a seated position, maybe just take a second to extend your legs out long. Give your shoulders a little wiggle, give your ankles a little wiggle, give your toes a little wiggle, give everything a nice little gentle mush around. And then if you like, come back to that comfortable seated position, maybe Sukhasana with legs crossed, but really any position that allows you to sit up and just become a little bit more aware of your physical body. And then if you like a nice upright seated position, maybe take a nice cat and cow here. Inhale to lift your chest and squeeze the shoulder blades, lift the chin. And then exhale, take it way back, nice and deep. So pull those ribs back. And then can you stay there for a second? Take a big inhale, feel the ribs in the back side of the body. Exhale, let it go. And then on your next inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin. Feel that nice space through the front of the chest and the collarbones. And then exhale, pull those ribs back, tuck your chin into your chest. And then just one more like that. Big inhale, lift your heart. Big exhale, round your back. And then find your way to a more neutral space. And then we're just going to let the left hand touch down to the ground. Let your right hand reach up and just take a nice gentle side bend. Be gentle, gentle, gentle. Just feel the side of the body. Take a breath. Awesome. And then lower that hand down and switch sides. Let the other hand extend up. Lean over just a little bit, just to the point where you can feel that gentle stretch, and then breathe into that space. Nice. And then lift it all up and then just take a twist one way, just to bring all of that movement into the spine. Awesome. And then twist the other way. Beautiful. And then bring it back to center and pause just for a second. Close your eyes down. Let your hands be soft. Let your jaw be soft. Come back to your breath. Take a nice deep breath in. And a nice slow breath out. Soften the space between your eyes. Soften your temples. Soften your cheekbones. Soften your jaw. Take one more nice good breath here. Beautiful. And then if it feels good to do so, bring your hands into Anjali Mudra, prayer hands at your heart center. Bow your head to your heart. Breathe in a whole bunch of love and gratitude for yourself and the time that you take to take care of yourself. And I send my love and gratitude out to you. Thank you for sharing your morning with me. I bow to you. Happy Wednesday.